Good morning. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. If you have a bolster, please grab that for your practice this morning, or a pillow or a couple of cushions. It's all optional, so don't worry if you don't have any props or if you'd rather not use any. So just take these first few moments to gather what you need, and then I thought we might start lying down. So either in Supta Baddha Konasana with the bolster under your spine or the cushions under your spine. I'll just show you if you're not sure. Or you can just lie with the feet stepped up close to the buttocks. But yeah, if you've got some support, you might put it lengthways under your spine. And then lying back, soles of the feet together, knees out wide, or you can always stretch the legs out along the mat if it becomes a little bit intense. So your arms can be down alongside you or perhaps stretched overhead. If you've got glasses on, you might like to just pop those to the side for the first few moments. You can also do that pose without any support under the spine, just lying flat. And just beginning by sighing the breath away 2 or 3 times. Feeling that you are dropping into yourself. Acknowledging that in this moment there is nothing to change or fix or do. For this moment, just let yourself be. Let yourself sink down, down, down. Feel your weight, your stability, solid on the earth, and just sinking into that feeling. Taking an inventory of how you are feeling right now, body, mind, and heart. And then bringing your awareness to the breath at the tip of your nostrils. And just be aware of the soft, gentle breath as it flows in and as it flows out. One breath at a time. Breath flowing in. Breath flowing out. Nothing else but the breath. Watching the breath. Simple, light attention. I'm going to start counting the breath backwards from 27 towards 1. So just exhale all breath and you'll breathe in and you'll breathe out, and that's 27. Breathing in and breathing out, 26. So just keep counting backwards towards 1. Taking your time, no hurry. Each breath arising and each breath passing away. Good. And then just release the counting. You might like to sigh the breath away. And perhaps saying to yourselves now, breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I calm my mind. May I be balanced. May I be at peace. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I calm my mind. May I be balanced. May I be at peace. The meditation teacher, Michael Singer, says, your mind can ruin your entire life. Most people think that what's on the outside determines the quality of their life. And yet what is going on in your mind determines the quality of your life. A wise person, and we are all wise at the deep level, wakes up someday and says, I have a problem. And the problem is not the outside world. The problem is that my mind will not leave me alone. It's constantly telling me what's wrong, what I've done wrong, what's wrong with me. Your mind is the biggest bully that ever walked the face of the earth. Yet it does not have to be that way. It can be a beautiful place to live. And if your mind is beautiful, then all of life is beautiful. The mind is a wonderful tool. It's a beautiful thing if you're driving it properly. So our yoga, our breathing practices, our meditation practice are all designed to assist us to quieten the mind and make it the servant of us rather than master. In this way, we work to raise the energies of the mind to a higher level so that we experience more natural beauty and uplifting joy and love and peace, rather than getting hooked into perpetual disturbance and complaint and disappointment. It's important to remember that there's only 3 sutras in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali that are about yoga postures. The other 193 sutras are all about dealing with the mind. So I thought this morning we might focus on one sutra in particular, Sutra 2.33, Vitarka Bhadane Pratipaksha Bhavanam. Vitarka Bhadane Pratipaksha Bhavanam. Vitarka refers to troublesome thoughts. Pratipaksha means opposite, and bhavana means cultivation. So this sutra encourages us to retrain our minds to think positive thoughts when we're being overtaken by negative ones in an attempt to reduce suffering. In a nutshell, recognizing that we have the power to shift our perspective away from suffering and limitation to the infinite bliss of the present moment. So this morning, the intention is to focus on uplifting ourselves and connecting with feelings of joy, contentment, hope, light, peace, clarity, rather than giving our energy away to feelings of anger or doubt or greed or pride or worry or disappointment or procrastination. This may sound easy, but for many of us, we need to keep practicing this again and again and again. So let's just start to deepen the breath, bring a little bit of movement into the fingers and toes. If you're still in Supta Baddha Konasana, I invite you to bring the knees in towards each other. And we're just going to quietly roll over to one side, taking your time. We're going to come up to sit and just work with a very short little meditation before we start to stretch a bit more. So finding a nice tall spine. You might be sitting on a chair, you might be sitting on a cushion or on a bolster. Legs might be crossed or you might be kneeling. Nice tall straight spine, just softening the shoulders, closing the eyes or have a soft downward glance. Softening the skin of the face. You might turn the sides of the mouth up slightly. And when you're ready, I invite you to bring to mind a negative thought you have about yourself. Perhaps not the most negative, but it might be a repetitive thought like, I'm not smart enough, or I'm not good enough, I'm forgetful, I always let myself get distracted, I'm not attractive. So just choose one negative view you have of yourself. Bring this to mind. Something that disturbs you. And just notice how this feeling shows up in your body. So with your eyes closed, what's going on inside the body now? Sense how this thought shows up in the body. How does your body feel when you think this thought? You might notice a sense of hardening or gripping, a tight feeling. It might be a lump in the throat. Might be a feeling of heaviness in the pit of the stomach. Shoulders might feel a bit tense, or the face. Are you familiar with this feeling? Have you experienced this before? Perhaps you actually experience it quite regularly. Now let us begin to shift your thought to the opposite. So now think of a phrase that's the opposite of that negative thought you've had. And you might say this to yourself, or you might even say it out loud. So it might be something like, I am enough, or I am clever, I am beautiful, I am clear and focused, I am a kind and caring person. And then notice how this new thought feels in your body. Notice how it feels different. So sense into the body. And perhaps label how you're feeling specifically. So you might say, oh, my forehead has softened. Or my throat is now clear. Or my tummy has relaxed. And then gently release this practice. We'll bring the hands together at the heart and we'll chant 3 Oms. Exhale all breath. Breathing in. Oh. Just gently bowing forward, softening forward. You might exhale the breath. Watch the tendency for negative thoughts to appear during the next hour or so and see if you can switch to a positive thought. So we practice catching ourselves again and again, because often we've just formed bad habits. It becomes automatic to think these negative thoughts. And it can take a lot of patience and a lot of practice and time to let go, to start to shift and change these habits. All right, I'm going to come to meet you back on my mat. So just coming up to sit. And we're going to start off with wheeling the body. So you can have the legs crossed. You might be sitting on a blanket or on a cushion or just on your mat. And if crossing the legs doesn't feel available at this moment in time, you might have the legs in more of a diamond shape. Hands just resting lightly on your knees. And we're going to start to slowly circle the body. The eyes can be open or closed. Just enjoying this calming movement. Great practice for loosening up the lower part of the spine and giving the lower abdominal area a lovely massage. Make sure you're not starting to clench the teeth together. Relax the jaws, the teeth, the tongue. Now, if your legs are crossed, just change the cross of the legs and we'll start to circle in the opposite direction. I was chatting with a friend yesterday about how we are born with an inherent a negativity bias. So it's like our default is to focus on what's wrong rather than the opposite, focusing on what's right. And this fits in with Patanjali's Sutra, Sutra 2.33, to try to shift away from this almost automatic focus on the negative and replacing it with a much more positive, life-affirming thought. Good. And then gently come back to center. So sitting up nice and tall, again in a diamond shape or legs crossed. We'll work with our seated bird. So hands are still on our knees. And as we exhale, we're going to round the back, looking down. And as we breathe in, chest moves forward, shoulders back, face soft. Exhale, we round. Inhale, chest forward, shoulders back. Good. So just working at your own pace. You can keep this slow or you can speed it up. Noticing how the different parts of your spine are feeling this morning. Good. And then if you like, taking your fingertips onto your shoulders, elbows touch. Inhale, take the arms out wide. Exhale, elbows touch. Breathing in and breathing out. And then we can take the arms wide and press the palms together. Inhale, like a beautiful bird flying through the sky. Inhale, open the heart. There's a little smile on your face. Exhale, palms press. Last one. And then this time we're going to interlace the fingers together, turn the palms away, take the arms above the head. Good, try to relax the shoulders, deep breath in, and then we're going to lean over to the left side. You can separate the arms if that's better for your shoulders. Breathe yourself back to center and over to the right. Try to keep the left sit bone down here. Inhale. Let's take this a little bit further now. So exhale, drop that left arm and take the right arm over the head. Good. Breathe yourself back to center and stretching over to the right. Good. Inhale. Beautiful flowing movement. Exhale over to the left. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more to each side. Good, now we're going to take it into a twist. So breathe yourself back to center and twisting to the left. So left fingers are behind you on the floor, or some of you might like to wrap that arm around your back, reaching towards your right thigh. Head moves last in our twist. We're looking over that left shoulder, lengthening up through the crown top, as though there's an invisible cord connected to the crown of the head. Tuck the chin in a little so the back of the neck is long. And breath is flowing. Good. And then inhale back to center. And exhale, twisting to the right. Inhale back to center and release your arms down. Good. Let's stretch the legs out in front with a shake. And we're going to place the right ankle on the left thigh. So a little bit of a hip buttock stretch here. So we're going to take the hands behind. Now, if this is strong enough for you, you might just stay here, trying to keep the spine upright. Otherwise, we're going to bend this left leg. So you might be coming into a position something like this, or just stretching it away a little bit. Keeping that right foot flexed to protect the right knee. Try not to let the shoulders do what mine are doing right now. So we don't want to hunch the shoulders up and concave the chest. So we try to draw the shoulders down, heart, chest open, face relaxed, and we're breathing. Good. And then we'll slowly release. If you like, give that knee a little bit of a rub, and then we'll try the other side. So it might be quite different on this side, so just go slowly Either keeping that right leg straight on the mat or bending that leg. Keeping that left foot flexed. Heart moving forward. Skin of the face soft. And release that leg. Might give the knee a little bit of a rub, and then stepping both feet up, but the feet are about mat distance apart. Another little twisting movement. So we're just going to lower the knees over one direction, looking over the opposite shoulder, and then bring the knees back to center and to the other side. So you can keep this slow like I'm doing, or you can speed this up. See what feels appropriate for you this morning. Synchronize the movement with your breath. Good. And one more to each side. And back to center. Release your hands and you can just stretch forward for a moment. So we're going to move into boat now, Navasana, and we'll just do this once and then we're going to work with a variation which is a bit more work for our core strength. But to begin, let's hold on to the sides of the legs and try once again to sit up as tall with a straight spine as possible. When we're ready, we're going to see if we can lean back and lift one leg up. If you find both difficult, you might even just do one leg at a time. You might do something like this, have a few breaths here and then swap sides, but otherwise both legs are lifted. And we're holding onto the legs, or those of you who'd like to, you can release the hold of the legs and just have your palms facing each other. The feet might be flexed with the inner edge of the big toes touching, or you might be choosing to point your toes. There are two different ways we can practice both. See what you prefer there. Gaze of the eyes is soft, so we're not straining the eye muscles. Again, perhaps a little smile. Those of you feeling super energetic, you might try straightening the legs. And of course, when you've had enough, just lower the feet down and rest forward. All right, so I think most of you have done this variation with me before, but have a look if you're not sure. So we're going to cross the legs at the ankles and take the hands behind us. You can play around. I think it's probably best to have the fingers pointing towards you for this one. So we're going to, as we inhale, see if we can straighten the legs. And as we exhale, we draw the knees in, chest moving towards the knees. So inhale, we lean back, we try to straighten the legs. Exhale, we draw in, shoulders back. So we'll try 3 more. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, draw in. Straighten, draw in. Straighten and draw in, and then just have a little rest. And then we're going to repeat on the other side. So across the opposite ankle on top, hands behind. So nice tall spine, shoulders back. Inhale, lean back. Exhale, draw in. 4 more. When you finish, uncross your legs and take a breath or two here. All right, now either we're going to have a go at flowing table, or those of you who don't love table, you're welcome to just lie down and work with some gentle flowing bridge pose, work with bridge pose. Otherwise you can come along with me. So we're going to take the hands behind, fingers turned away from the body this time. The feet are hip width apart, chest moving forward. Exhale all breath. As we breathe in, we're going to lift the buttocks, lift the hips, look along the body if there are any neck issues. Otherwise, you might look up towards the sky. And as we exhale, we're lowering back down. Inhale, we lift. Exhale. Work at your own pace with your breath, either working in table or you might be working with bridge. Long, smooth inhalation as you lift. Long, smooth exhalation as you lower. Now we'll do a few more. If you'd like to, you can hold the pose now. Keep the breath flowing. Enough, no hurry, you lower down. And if you're in bridge, just rock from side to side. If you've just done table, just release the arms forward. If you need to, you can make a few wrist rotations in either direction. Good, and then we're going to transition to lie down onto our tummies. Just with one hand on top of the other, your chin or your forehead on your hands. And again, just taking a moment to check in with yourself, to note how you're feeling and any thoughts in the mind. Aware of if you need to change a negative thought to a positive one. And again, perhaps saying to yourselves, breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I calm my mind. May I be balanced. May I be at peace. We're going to work now with a flowing locust, Shalabhasana. Again, I think you all know this one, but feel free to have a look. The arms are going to be down alongside the body, the head turned to one side. The feet are about hip distance apart or a little bit wider. And we exhale all breath here. As we breathe in, we're going to lift the head to center, the arms lift, and the legs. Exhale, lower down, head rotates the opposite way. So breathing in, we lift. And breathing out, we lower. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, we lower. Let's do a few more to each side. For the last couple, you might choose to hold locust instead. Just keep the breath flowing, pointing your fingers, pointing your toes, face soft. And when you've had enough, gently lower down. If the lower back's feeling a little bit tight here, you can bend the lower legs and just swing them from side to side. And then we're going to come into Makarasana, crocodile. So again, feet are hip width or even mat width if that's better for your lower back. And the palms of the hands are together. We're resting on our forearms. Eyes can be closed or just with a soft downward glance. And we're going to try and stay here for a couple of minutes and work with a visualization, but feel free to come down early if it becomes a bit too much. So I invite you now to visualize in your mind's eye or just above your head a beautiful, shining, sparkling, twinkling star. It's bright, bright, might be a silvery or golden light shining down. And as you breathe in, imagine you're drawing this bright, twinkling, sparkling light in through the center of your forehead, through your third eye. Take it right down into the body. Visualize it traveling down your spine. And as you exhale, just allow it to spread through your whole being. Breathing in this star shining light, this warm, silver or gold light, let it flow down your spine, and exhale, let it spread through your being. Helping to light you up on the inside, so you're glowing on the inside, this radiant, shining light. Uplifting feeling. Just a few more breaths here. Good. And then we'll slowly come down. Send the breath right down into the lower back. Now, those of you who are feeling super energetic this morning, if you'd like a little bit of an extra challenge, bring your hands alongside your chest, elbows tucked in, forward on the mat. Tuck your toes and see if you can lift yourself off the floor into Chaturanga Dandasana. So you're just hovering off the floor a centimetre or two, and see if you can stay there for a breath or two or three. Now, those of you who are not working with this, you can just very slowly and mindfully lift yourself up, bend the legs, and push back into child pose. If you need to, you can make fists of the hands and give that lower back and your hips a little bit of a rub or even a tap. Good. And then extending the arms forward. Okay, so we're going to move from child pose through into cobra and then back into child. So try maybe 4 or 5 of these. So staying down low to the ground,
As you breathe in, you're going to slide along the mat, elbows squeeze in, lifting yourself up, bend the legs, and moving back into child. So coming along the floor, keeping the chin as close to the mat as you can, elbows squeeze in, lifting up, bend the legs, and back into child. Good. So in your own time now, sliding along, tuck the elbows in, and push back. Let's try 2 or 3 more. And then on our last one, we're going to move into cobra, bend the legs, tuck your toes, and transition up into down face dog pose. You might blow the breath up through the mouth, and you might like to just begin by bending one leg and then the other, especially if the legs are feeling quite stiff still at this point in time. Fingers are spread wide, your head and neck are relaxed. Good. And then just coming down onto your knees. Now, a couple of options. Gentler option is now to work with cat and perhaps do 8 to 10 rounds of cat. So just a very gentle inhale. We drop the belly, lift the buttocks, the face, and exhale, rounding the back. So just working in your own time, eyes open or closed. Those of you who'd like to try something a little bit more challenging this morning, we're going to come back into down face dog pose. We're going to come forward into plank, come down into chaturanga, and if you can, roll over the toes into up face dog pose. So it's different to cobra in that our legs, our knees are not touching the mat. Then back into dog. So it's quite strong. May not be for you, especially if you've got any wrist or shoulder issues this morning. Just work with cat. Otherwise, from dog, we're moving into plank, chaturanga, hovering off the floor, rolling over your toes, up face dog pose. Roll the shoulders down the back, the heart is open here, and then exhale into dog. So you might try 2 or 3 more of these. Otherwise, we're enjoying our beautiful cat. Keeping the face soft, mouth relaxed, long, smooth inhalation, and long, smooth exhalation. Perhaps 2 or 3 more rounds of cat. If you're working with a stronger flowing sequence, you might just make this the last one now. And in a moment, we're all going to move back into dog, holding dog, and then lifting up onto your tiptoes and walking your feet towards your hands. Let's lift up halfway as we breathe in. And fold, legs bent or straight here. Again, lifting up halfway and lower. And now we're going to come all the way up. Lift your shoulders up towards your ears and roll them down the back. Let's do that a couple of times. So shoulders round forward, up and back, forward, up and back. Good. Okay, let's come to the fronts of our mat, standing into Tadasana. Feet are hip width, just spread the toes, bring the hands together at the heart space in Namaskar Mudra. If you feel comfortable, closing the eyes. And again, taking a moment to check in with yourself. Perhaps asking, have I been focusing on what's wrong while I've been on my yoga mat? All the things that are wrong with my body or my mind. Or have I been focusing on the things that are working really well, that are healthy? Again, catching ourselves over and over again. If we're tending to swing straight into the negative and trying to replace it with a positive statement. Okay, we're going to go through a few rounds of Surya Namaskar, salute to the sun, and we might hold a couple of the poses for a few breaths, so slowing it down this morning. So let's exhale, release the arms down by our side and breathe in. Palms touch. Exhale. Inhale. Turn the palms to the sky, little baby back bend. And then exhale, come forward. Legs bent or straight here. Now we'll lift up halfway and lower. And let's just stay here for one breath. And then we're going to step the right leg back. So the knee can be in the air or you can lower it down to the mat. And then we're going to come into plank, body in a straight line. And then lowering our knees, our elbows, our chest and chin. Inhale through into Bhujangasana. Bend the legs into down face dog pose and let's stay for a couple of breaths. Looking towards our hands, stepping the right leg forward. So left knee in the air or down on the mat. And then left leg forward. Inhale, come up. Exhale. Straight on to the other side. Breathing in. So again, we'll lift up halfway and lower and we'll stay for a breath. Stepping the left leg back. So again, knee in the air or down on the mat. Into plank. Down into the 8-pointed position. Through into cobra. And back into dog. And let's pause here. And then look towards your hands, stepping the left leg forward and right leg forward. Inhale, come up. And exhale. Okay, so we're going to do 2 more rounds. Inhale. Breathe in. So a little baby back bend. And coming forward. So a halfway lift and lower and hold for a breath. Stepping the right leg back. Now we're going to hold the lunge this time. So knee is in the air or down on the mat. Face and the mouth free of tension. Good. And then into plank. Down into the 8-pointed position. Through into cobra. Back into dog. And again, we'll pause here. And then looking towards your hands, we'll step the right leg forward. And let's pause again. So knee in the air or down on the mat. And breathe. And left leg forward. Inhale, come up. And exhale. Breathe in. Halfway lift and lower and pause here. Left leg back and we're holding the lunge. Into plank. 8-pointed position. Through into cobra. Back into dog and pause. Left leg forward, holding the lunge. And right leg forward.
Okay, so this is our last round. If you're a bit low in energy, feel free to lie down or sit down and just visualize yourself doing the sequence. Halfway lift and lower, stay for a breath. Right leg back. Into plank. Now, option to hold plank for 2 or 3 breaths. If that's not appropriate this morning, you come straight down into the 8-pointed position. We all meet here. And then through into cobra. And back into dog. And let's pause. And then stepping the right leg forward, left. Exhale. Okay, so this is our last round. Lift up halfway. Lower and stay for a breath. Left leg back, into plank. Again, option to hold plank for 2 or 3 breaths or come straight down into the 8-pointed position. And then we'll all come through cobra, back into dog and pause. And left leg forward. Right. And exhale. Hands come to the heart. Soften the shoulders. Perhaps sighing the breath away. Nice. Good. Okay, just a couple more standing poses before we come back down to the mat. So we're going to go into Trikonasana, triangle. So we'll take the legs wide, turn the right toes around, left toes in a little bit. And this space between your 2 feet is ideally one of your legs' length. So however long your legs are, ideally that's the same space here between your feet. All right, so just relax the shoulders and we'll take a deep breath in. Raise the arms to shoulder height, turn to the right. As we exhale, we lean over and take the right hand down. This left hand may go on your hip if that's better for your shoulder. Otherwise, we extend that top arm up. Ideally, these 2 arms are in a straight line. And we're either looking down towards our right big toe, forward, or up towards that left thumb. And breathe. Good. Now from here, we're going to move into warrior 2. So we'll bring the head to neutral. Inhale, come up, turn to the right, and we're going to bend that right leg. Option to rest the back hand on your hip, again, if that's better for your shoulder. And then we're gazing along the right middle finger. If the arms are extended, they're in a straight line, you can check. Softening the shoulders and breathe. Imagine someone's gently tugging you back by your left wrist. So we don't want all of the attention and weight going into this right side. Gentle leaning back towards the left. And we're going to move into dancing warrior. So as we breathe in, we turn the right palm up and we windmill the arms backwards. Breathing into the right side of the torso. Good. And then inhale, come back to center and exhale. Now let's turn the legs around. We'll do the same the other way. The other thing to check with your alignment is that your left heel is in a straight line with the arch of the back foot. That's breathing. Turn to the left, breathing out, leaning over. Take the hand down, top hand on your hip, or extending the arm up. Either looking down, forward, or up towards your right thumb. Ideally, the arms are in a straight line. Breath is flowing. Good. And then bring the head to neutral. Inhale, come up. Turn to the left. Bend the left leg. Option to rest that back hand on the hip, or the arms are in a straight line. We're gazing along that left middle finger. Shoulders are soft. Imagine someone's gently tugging us back by the right wrist. Good. And then inhale, turn that left palm up. Exhale, dancing warrior.
and breathe. Good. Inhale, come back to center and exhale. Let's release those legs. You might shake it out. Excuse me. And we're going to grab our bolsters or cushions or pillows if you have them. Don't worry if you don't. We're going to come into supported child, or we can just do child pose without any support. So you can place the prop between your upper thighs and then lie down, arms are forward, and just turn your head to one side. If you feel comfortable, you can close the eyes. And let's just rest here for a moment. Just letting the body soften down. Feeling the support beneath you. If your head is turned to one side, just gently turn it the opposite way. And then slowly coming up, just pop any support to the side. And we're going to have a go at just a little balance staying down low. So we're going to see if we can come on to, you might need to put a cushion or a blanket under your heels, but we're going to see if we can just be on the balls of the feet. Now you might need to have the hands down, or you can even do this with your back to a wall if you feel really wobbly. But we're going to see if we can come so that our thighs are parallel to the floor and our spine is perpendicular to the floor. So coming into something like this, hands together at the heart, shoulders relaxing down, and breath flowing. Those of you who want to challenge yourself a little bit more, we can try lifting the left foot up and seeing if we can place the ankle on the opposite thigh. So again, we keep this left foot flexed to protect the knee. And if we can, again, we bring the hands into prayer position at the heart space. Good to do this against a wall. Not easy. And then if you want to, we'll try the other side. And release. All right, now a couple of options. I thought we'd come into supported bridge or a variation of Viparita Karaniasana. If you don't have a bolster, it doesn't matter. You might even at this point like to come back into bridge and hold bridge, or even lie with your legs up the wall. So just shuffle over, have the buttocks on the floor,
legs up the wall. Otherwise, a couple of variations. We set ourselves up for bridge, so legs are bent, feet are hip width, and then we lift ourselves up and just slide the bolster under the buttocks. So this is one option, or another option to be here. Try to tuck the shoulders in underneath you so that the chest is open. So you might be here, or the other Viparita Karaniasana option is to have the buttocks on the bolster or cushions and then take the legs up into the sky. So something like this. Arms might be overhead or down by your side, whatever's comfortable. We're going to try and stay here for a few minutes though. So choose one that you feel you'll be able to maintain for a few minutes, but of course knowing you can come out early if need be. These are considered restorative poses, very nourishing, helping to switch on the parasympathetic nervous system. So the opposite of fight or flight, freeze. You might like to close the eyes. Some of you may be familiar with EFT tapping developed by Nick Ortner, which works in a very similar way to what Patanjali proposes in Sutra 2.33, replacing negative thoughts and feelings with positive ones. If you're not familiar with this practice, specific acupressure points are tapped whilst positive words are repeated to help create new neural pathways and new habits and new thought patterns. I've been working with it quite a bit over the last couple of weeks and have been finding it really beneficial. So it's something you might like to check out if you're not familiar with it at all. Feel free to message me if you want a bit more information. But yesterday also I received a really interesting email from Nick Ortner to say that the most comprehensive research paper on tapping has recently been published in a highly esteemed scientific journal called The Frontiers in Psychology. And the authors concluded that tapping is an effective treatment for a variety of psychological and physiological conditions, and that it should be used in primary care settings, including hospitals and clinics. It was found to be beneficial for anxiety, depression, phobias, PTSD, pain, insomnia, and various autoimmune conditions. So we often do incorporate a little bit of tapping in yoga, but it's a little bit different that the EFT tapping, working with these acupressure points and repeating certain positive phrases whilst tapping. So worth having a look at if you're not familiar. So just another 30 seconds here. And then over the next breath or two, if the legs are up in the air or up the wall, just slowly bring them down. We're going to just carefully remove any bolsters or props that might be underneath us and bring the knees into the chest and just give yourselves a lovely hug, perhaps a little rock from side to side.
And then come back to center and inhale, stretch the legs up to the sky, arms overhead or out to the side, push the heels up, toes back towards you. And exhale, draw in, perhaps lifting the head towards your knees. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, legs to the sky. And exhale, draw in. Last one. Good, lower the head. Now before we move into Shavasana, let's work with a twist. You can have the feet on the mat or in the air. And if you've got your bolster or a prop, you might like to pop that on the right side of you, arms out at shoulder height. As you exhale, taking the knees over to the right side. So they may be resting on that support, or you may not need any support. And the head may turn to the left if that's okay for your neck. Good. And then come back to center. And if you're using some support, just take that over to the left side now. And exhale, lowering the knees to the left. Head may turn to the right. And slowly back to center. Little hug and a squeeze. If there's anything else you need to do before relaxing, feel free to do that now. And then we'll set ourselves up for Shavasana. Pop socks on, cover yourselves with a blanket. You might put the bolster under your knees. Come up closer to you. Sighing the breath away. As you settle down, get really comfortable. You might say to yourselves once again, breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I calm my mind. May I be balanced. May I be at peace. Allow your whole body now to feel light as cotton wool or as light as a feather. Feel your whole body softening, lightening, letting go of any hard, rigid edges. Allowing your whole body to widen, to feel spacious and expansive. Feeling a softness in your face, neck, and throat. Your chest is soft. The breath flowing in
and flowing out. And experiencing a softening in both shoulders, both arms, hands and fingers. Slowly moving down through the trunk of your body, feeling all tension leaving. Feel a sense of softening in your belly. No hardening of the belly. And allow this sensation of softness to travel down into both legs, feet, and toes. Whole body softening. Whole body relaxing. And allowing this feeling of softness, of lightness to move into your mind. Release the need to push yourself relentlessly. And begin to develop a kind, gentle attitude towards yourself. Sensitive to what's going on inside of you. Letting go. Letting go. Letting go. So we don't want to try too hard to shift our mental and emotional state. We don't want it to be a struggle. Rather, the key is to surrender disturbing or negative thoughts. Just simply let them go. And to find a more positive replacement. I am enough. I value who I am. I love and accept myself as I am. So let's start now to deepen the breath and bring a little bit of movement into our fingers and toes. Have a bit of a stretch, do what feels good. Feel free to stay lying down if you're really comfortable and happy here and have time to do so. Otherwise, we'll roll over to one side and just slowly make our way up into a comfortable seated position. And we'll close our practice this morning with one Om. So when you're ready, bringing the hands together at the heart space, exhale all breath. Breathing in. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of this day and see you again soon. Lots of love. Bye.